Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Dr. J again, Bad Bob rapping at you. Nothing like a nice cold beer after a hard day's work. I just saw Bollywood in the D this past weekend, and I had a blast to say the very least. A friend of mine turned me on to Indian culture, and I've been in love with it ever since. I know nothing about the Hindi languages. The only words I know in Hindi is Namaste and Avida, and they both sound good. If I didn't know any better, I'd say they have some Latin overtures or something like that. But this one cat who stole the show, his name was Parthiv Golhil, and he is an Asian version of Elvis, Michael Jackson, David Bowie, all the greats just into one. And this guy, he literally stole the show. You had to be there to see it. I was there for, I don't know, maybe 2-3 hours tops. And I thought about my friend. She stays in Ohio now, and um, whether or not she knew about the concert, I don't know. I'm sweating because been humping all day. But anyway, this thing with Bollywood in the D, um, best $100 I ever spent at the music hall downtown Detroit. Last time I've been there was February or March 1998. I saw Jeff Lorber, Stanley Clark, Lenny White, Larry Carlton, and they threw down. And 14, 15 years later, I'm seeing this concert of a whole different culture that's brought over from Southeast Asia to the Detroit area. And whoever is familiar with Detroit, is very segregated, but at the same time it does have its diverse areas. And on the lower southeast side of town, there is an Indian population. And it took me a while to figure it out, but the old Fisher Mansion, that's their temple. And I would like to take tours of it one of these days. And where I work at now, I work with a few Indian people, and I have forgotten that there are a variety of Hindi languages. From what I understand, there's over 30 languages in Hindi, and my friend, she's fluent in two. I keep getting that wrong, but she's fluent in two tongues, and last I heard, she's studying on her, I'm gonna get it right, her third one. And to make a long story short, because of her, she got me wanting to learn more about it. And I've watched a few Hindi movies on YouTube, and watching Parthiv Golhil just steal the show. I have another one of these pamphlets, and please excuse it because it's torn. But I have a whole bunch of them. I got at least 3 of these, and the list of people just threw down. And I even have a doctor in St. Clair Shores who's from India, and if I see him again, I'll be more than happy to let him know that I saw that concert, I appreciated it, and I enjoyed it. Let's see, one of the, like I said, I mentioned Parthiv Golhil. Like I said, he rocked it. He stole the show, and he did a vocal version of an instrumental tune from the jazz rock era, like from the early 1970s, before, slightly before my time, but it sounded like something John McLaughlin would have hooked up while he was playing for Miles Davis back in the 60s. And it, like I said, I just can't say it enough. Parthiv, he threw down. That's all I can say. I mean, this cat was rocking it, man. He was. And I had the pleasure of taking some pictures, and Well, let's just say this. I paid over $100 for my ticket. I had the best seat in the house because I sat in the mezzanine, and that pretty much overlapped the bottom section. Please forgive me, I'm still sweating here. But you had to have been there to see it. It was called Bollywood in the D. And let me tell you something. I love my city. I really do. You know, emotions kind of high and low right now, but I got a feeling that a lot of things is gonna awaken this gentle giant known as Detroit, Michigan. And this, in my opinion, was just the start of it. Earlier this month, we had Cinco de Mayo. I keep missing it every year because I want to take pictures of that also, especially the old school lowriders, especially the ones from the 60s, the 70s, and even the 80s when I was, cars they made when I was growing up. But, whew, I just couldn't, words cannot explain how I felt about that concert. And I'm looking at a list of people who have performed, and there's this one lady from Toronto named Janita Gandhi. Oh man, next to Parthiv, hey, she was rocking it also. And Rajuta Joshi, I'm sorry, my pronunciation of these Indian names kind of sucks, but I'm working on it. I work with a gentleman by the name of Satyam, and it took me about a week to get that right. So I'm still learning, and thanks to my friend who stays in Ohio now, I don't know whether or not she'll see this, but man, if she only knew about this concert, she probably would have been telling me about it. But that's a horse of another color. But if I ever have a chance to see these people again, I will not hesitate to see them. And I work with a few people from India, and I've gotten to know them very well within the last month or so. And it's kind of ironic because I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the Hindi tongue consists of over 30 languages. And my Indian co-workers, they speak to one another in English because I thought that they all spoke the same native tongue. That's not true. Kind of like the Native Americans, and I do have some Native American ancestry. Well, my parents do. You can see more of it in them than you can in me if you were to meet them. But that being said, like the Native Americans, they have various languages through their tribes. Likewise with the Asian Indians, excuse me. And I didn't know this until recently, that India has over 1 billion people. That's a lot for a country that's almost half the size of the United States, if I'm not mistaken. That being said, now I understand why there's so many languages being spoken in that country. And at the same time, my Indian co-workers, they communicate with one another through English, because they may know one version of Hindi and the other person may know another version of Hindi. So it's, even though they're the same nationality, same color, same culture, and it's just that you got to figure out who's who. And I think about my friend in Ohio, she knows 2 of the Hindi tongues, and I'll be honest, I would be content just with learning one. And I'll also say this. The last time I visited down south was 4 summers ago. And I spent a week in Montgomery, Alabama, where my family is. And the majority of the people who run things down there are Indians. And seeing that Louisiana has an Indian governor, Bobby Jindal, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's his last name. Huge population. I saw just about as many people there than I do up here. But all in all, Bollywood in the D, hey, I had a good time. To those of you who made it, hey, hopefully I saw some of you there, and it's definitely it's definitely a different thing, and some of those coordinators who came from India, they went through great lengths to bring their culture over here to Detroit, and I appreciate what they did, and I welcome them. You know, that's just me, because I've been living in a segregated area the majority of my life. I want to be where it's mixed. I stayed in Clinton Township, Michigan, 8 miles north of the city. And where I lived at, it was very mixed. It still is. And that being said, I enjoyed it. I can't say it enough. I enjoyed it. The singers, the musicians, they were singing in a variety of tongues. I don't know what more to say, but that concert totally rocked. I plan to do more vlogs down the road as well as other videos. Check me out on my blog, on my website. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. Look at the front page on my YouTube channel. You see all the links you need to see. I'll talk to you later.